What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a look at the biggest card games in Japan. And there's going to be a few stories we'll look at. We'll get to a bunch of things as we go, but one thing that needs to be pointed out right at the beginning, and this is a channel where we talk about the One Piece TCG a lot. The One Piece TCG is crushing over in Japan. This is about the best case scenario for the One Piece TCG right now. The One Piece TCG is doing better than anyone could possibly have imagined. And no, it is not going to be challenging Pokemon anytime soon. I've told you this before, the idea of that is absolutely ridiculous. But the One Piece TCG is doing so well right now. And frankly, as somebody who adores the One Piece TCG, and honestly, since this came out, I've read One Piece, and it's amazing. So now I just love One Piece. This is awesome. Now, what we've got is a list of top 15 card games, and it's judged by year-end sales data. Mizukame MHF, I saw this sharing it around. Cosmic Plays, I saw sharing it around as well. It's doing the rounds, and frankly, it's a pretty big deal. And Pokemon is number one by a gigantic margin. Like, it's hilarious. Pokemon is as big as the next 8 combined. Like, genuinely, 2 through 8 combined don't make up the sales of Pokemon. Pokemon is basically treble Yu-Gi-Oh! In number 2. It's absurd, right? Pokemon, absolute juggernaut, no argument there. And we're going to talk about some of the other games here because they are very relevant. But I want to hone in on One Piece. It's in at number 4 with 265 billion. Now, if we have a look at the list, now you might notice Magic the Gathering there and be going, hang on a second, Wassy. Magic in at number 6, significantly below anything else in the top 5. Yeah, Magic's not that big a deal in Japan. Like, don't get me wrong, Magic is a great game. Magic has a Japanese presence. Magic does fine in Japan. It is a thing. But whereas over here, Magic is number 2 behind Pokemon. No, it's not even close. But it is number 2 behind Pokemon. By over here, I'm talking about the West generally. In Japan, it's not the same kind of thing. It's fine, it's cool, not the same. But One Piece, in at number 4, is genuinely brilliant. And, if we have a look at the top 3 there, number 1 is obviously Pokemon. Number 2 is Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Is number 3 in the West, but in Japan it's a very clear number 2. And then number 3, we got Duel Masters. Now, I know Duel Masters isn't really a thing over here, but in Japan, Duel Masters remains a very, very, very big deal. So that's kind of a big thing. It's not something we talk about much on this channel because it's very much kind of a Japanese game that came out long before I started doing this. I missed the boat on Duel Masters, basically, and I'm sorry about that. So we're not going to be talking too much about Duel Masters. What we are going to be talking about is One Piece coming in at number 4 because there are some really notable names that it is above. And, in Japan, you've got Pokemon as Yu-Gi-Oh! As the clear 1 and 2, but Duel Masters is not a clear number 3. Like, Duel Masters is sitting there at 289 billion and One Piece is sitting there at 265. But look at the increase over the previous year. Duel Masters has gone up by 97, which is lovely. One Piece has gone up by 313%. Now, the only one that's gone up more than that, basically, One Piece has had double the jump of any other game, except for Union Arena, which we're going to talk about in a minute, because Union Arena is very relevant. There's something interesting and fun going on with Union Arena. But One Piece is growing massively, and here's the thing. Stock of One Piece has not been easy to get. Like, OP05 over in Japan, it's not like you've been able to just wander up and buy that casually. OP05 is the big set, the anniversary set, etc. It's a very big deal in Japan, just like it's a very big deal over here. It is hard to get in Japan, just like it's hard to get over here. One Piece have seen a jump to the 4th biggest game. They've seen a rise in sales of 313%, and stock has been an issue. Not for some, like OP04 readily available. When I was in Japan in August, I picked up a couple boxes of OP04, and frankly, if I wasn't having to limit myself because there was so much cool stuff to buy in Japan, I could easily and happily have bought more. OPO4, not difficult to find. But OPO5 has been, and Romance Dawn has been. They're the two big sets in Japan, just like they're the two big sets over here. They've been selling out in Japan like they've been selling out over here. And the point I'm making is, with all the success that One Piece has seen, with the growth that One Piece has seen, they've still had fairly significant stock shortages. You know, here's a tweet from the official store over in Japan, explaining for a couple of stores, but this is really wide. OPO7 has been pre-ordered by a lottery. So, and don't get me wrong, Pokemon has had this as well. Pokemon has actually just figured it out. Pokemon is fine now, as I've been talking about on my other channel, PTCG Radio. But One Piece, it's been varied. Like I say, OPO4 wasn't an issue, but OPO1 and OPO5 really were. And even, OPO7 recently being sold by a lottery. One Piece has not been able to have consistent stock of everything readily available. And look at the growth it's seen. And frankly, when we see this list in a year, I refuse to believe One Piece won't be number 3. I am expecting, and I'm calling my shot now, and I feel very confident about this, I am expecting that One Piece is going to be a top 3 game over in Japan pretty much. Well, I was going to say immediately, it's not. By the time next year, we're going to be, 2.5-ish years in, right? So it's not immediate, but becoming a top 3 game in that time frame, and TCG is a big deal in Japan. There are a lot of TCGs over in Japan, and to be a top 3 game is immense. Now in the West, you've got the trio of Pokemon, Magic, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Trying to break into that is absurdly difficult, although I genuinely believe One Piece has a chance. Not to overtake Magic or Pokemon, but I do believe we could see it jumping Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, I don't have massive amounts of data to back that up. I could absolutely be wrong. But we've got the data in Japan. We got actual sales figures. And we don't get these sales figures in the West. We just don't get this level of data for TCGs, which makes me really sad. But I'm trying to impart on you what a big deal this is for One Piece. For any game to jump up this high, this fast, and if you see how close it is to Duel Masters, if you see the difference in growth, you imagine, what would have happened had One Piece not had the shortages of some key sets, and all of a sudden, yeah, seriously, One Piece is doing amazing. There are a couple of other games I really want to talk about here. We're actually sticking on Bandai games for a moment, because they're, I think, going to be the most interesting ones for you guys. Games like Build Divide are awesome, but I don't think there's much of an audience for them in the West. Although I have done some Build Divide openings, and I do enjoy Build Divide. Cool game. But again, I do think we are talking very much Japanese game that hasn't come over here. I do understand that not everybody is gonna be all in on that. But what about Digimon? I love Digimon. And look, I am well aware that I don't cover Digimon on this channel like I used to. And I'm sorry about that. There's various reasons, but sorry. To put it bluntly, it is not doing anywhere near as well. Digimon is sitting there at the moment as the 12th biggest game. The comparison to last year is 85%. What that literally means up here is last year comparison, which I'm pretty sure means it's down 15%. I should have mentioned with Duel Masters, that's pretty much even to last year, whereas One Piece is going up massively. So Digimon, I mean, look, it's sitting there at number 12. It's a 12 billion, which is significantly below Vanguard, which is fine, but not great. It's being absolutely trounced nearly 3-1 by Union Arena. More on that in a moment. And it seems like sales are down. So, yeah. Digimon, frankly, is not doing that well. Digimon is struggling a fair bit. And I'm sorry if that sounds mean. And one of the biggest issues with Digimon, One Piece. One Piece is so good. There are only so many games around. And you're talking about a licensed Bandai card game that's launched in the past few years. One Piece is a stronger license and is selling better. And I think the biggest issue for Digimon right now is One Piece. Digimon, if we look at this list, is not doing amazingly, and for that, I'm sorry. You know what is? Union Arena. 643%. That means that sales are 6 times, or 6.5 times, what they were in the previous year. Now, there is some context here. A growth like that is redonkulous, but it needs to be borne in mind if it came out the gate swinging. Like, there's no way One Piece was going to see a 600% comparison. Because One Piece sold too well. Union Arena didn't. And look, I love Union Arena. I've done a bunch of Union Arena openings on this channel. Tekken 7, big fan. Me and Robico, My Hero Academia. I like Union Arena, all right? I bought a bunch of Union Arena. When I go back to Japan in August, there is a very good chance I come home with more Union Arena. Here's the thing, though. I have bought a bunch of Union Arena off Amazon Japan for pennies. Okay, not literally pennies, but for instance, me and Robico, I was buying boxes of this. Well, you can still buy boxes of me and Robico on Amazon for 1,930 yen. That's $12. Just a shade over $12. For a booster box. It's like 40% of retail. Actually, a bit less than that. And I bought some because I like me and Robico. It's a fun manga. Seriously, read it. It's fun. And, you know, it's a fun manga to read. And, you know, the cards are cool. And I like Union Arena. So I'm in on that. I like being able to pick up $12 booster boxes. But that was kind of Union Arena. Some of the early sets, between early printing and lack of demand, has seen, well, let's just say they haven't gone well. They have turned it around. They've got better licenses, better sets. I need to dig in exactly what they've been doing. I will tell you, Tekken 7 has never gotten that cheap. It's not horrendous, don't get me wrong. And I might still buy some more of this because I love me some Tekken. But they've been doing a better job. Union Arena has seen a great jump. And this is a big surprise and a big success story. Because Union Arena was like dead on arrival. And we know it's getting an English release. We know that later in the year, Union Arena is getting an English release. One of the things that was super surprising to me was Union Arena getting an English release, given it didn't do well. Well, they have turned it around. And don't get me wrong, Union Arena is not a juggernaut. Yeah, it's sitting in there at number 9, 32 billion. It's hovering around, just a little bit below, but very similar to Shadowverse and Battle Spirits, which are decent games. But the idea that it's actually up on this list as a top 10 game with that bigger growth, absolutely phenomenal. We're not going to go into all the Japanese exclusive games for fairly obvious reasons, but the big takeaways here are, firstly, oh my word, Pokemon is a juggernaut like most people don't realise. One Piece is right on course to be a top 3 game in Japan in just a couple of years, and that is amazing. Digimon is not doing brilliantly, and Union Arena is back from the dead. There we go. There's your headlines. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me which of these games you like. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we just talk a whole bunch of card games, including a whole bunch of One Piece. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.